Hello, dear friend. You are watching the full moon in Leo-Aquarius prediction. So my setup is a little different this time, and I'm almost certain that it's photographically totally incorrect, but once on a full moon, I guess we can do whatever we want. So let's see what we can expect from this upcoming full moon, which will happen on the 16th of February, and is actually a pretty interesting one because not only it triggers the signs of Leo and Aquarius, obviously those are the signs where we have the moon and the sun, but at the same time this full moon also triggers the other two fixed signs, the sign of Taurus and Scorpio, because that's where we have the lunar nodes. So this full moon actually triggers a grand cross with the lunar nodes. And the four fixed signs are extremely triggered. So Leo, Aquarius, but also Taurus and Scorpio. Those energies are really active right now. And what's very interesting also is that those are the signs which represent the different types of love. Each of them understands and experiences love in a unique way as an archetype. And again, kind of a coincidence is that we are about to start our new relationship astrology course very soon. So the topic is really active right now. And if you feel like this is important for you as well, whether personally or just as a way to read charts better, please check the links below and join us for our Relationship Astrology and Synastry course. Now, with that being said, not only we have the four fixed signs triggered, the signs of love or the different types of love on this full moon, but we also have an exact conjunction between Venus and Mars on the very same day of the full moon. So again, on the 16th. So love is everywhere. Love is very important. Always, but now more than ever. And it's a great time actually to analyze this area of our lives. To be honest, first of all, this is what a full moon can kind of like allow you or offer you or invite you or sometimes push you to do, to look from a different perspective and to kind of like open your eyes for things that you have denying, neglecting, pretending they're not there, whatever. And from that perspective, this full moon can help you to understand love and specifically also your love life from a very different perspective. And this is gold, like this is priceless, to be able to perhaps see and recognize your own needs when it comes to love, to recognize where you have been stopping yourself or where also you are frustrated. And it always starts with clarity. It always starts with clarity and awareness. So a main area to focus on right now is love. Love and your needs and your own desires. And as usual, of course, this is also a wonderful time to let go of things that you are not happy with. Those could be emotional patterns, those could be blockages, those could be limiting beliefs, you name it. As long as you feel like you're ready to let it go, and especially if this is somehow related to the theme of the full moon, that would be even better. Now is the time to release those things. So love will be very, very important. Another thing that this full moon can also trigger is our role as an individual in a bigger group or community. Leo is the sign of individuality, of our own essence and expression and potential and talent, all of that. And Aquarius, on the other side, is the sign of collectives and groups and communities and society. So you might want or need to work on this. Like, of course, everyone will have their very own direction and path. But for example, if you feel like you've been isolating yourself, you don't feel well integrated in a community and you want to change that, perfect. This full moon is great to do that. Or if you feel like you've been too integrated, but on the other side you have neglected your own needs or you're not recognizing them even, then perhaps you should work more on this part of the equation and connect more with yourself. Whatever the story is, whatever your direction would be, the important thing here is that the moon is in Leo. And the sign, or generally the position of the moon in a full moon, shows what we may change or where we may need to adapt to something. And Leo is, as we said, the individuality. So here it's about awareness, recognizing things, but then taking kind of like a leadership position, whatever the situation is, and from that point to make some kind of changes. So, for example, saying that you've been neglected by society or other people or friends, that's not a helpful strategy or position to be in. Because whatever the situation is, whatever other people are doing to you, that comes from within you. And it means that the solution will also come from within you. So the Leo full moon is great for recognizing this leadership role that we all have in our lives, whether we recognize it or not. So, in other words, some big, profound personal changes are more than welcome right now and can be extremely beneficial, actually. So, take a deep and honest look into yourself and see what would you like to change about yourself. Not in a judgmental way, not in a harsh, putting yourself down way, no. But in a more empowering and uplifting way. So lots of personal changes, lots of changes that would allow you to take back some control in your life and to recognize your potential, your talents, your skills, your gifts, all of that. So lots of focus on the self. This is like a big theme of this full moon. Another interesting moment we have here is that the sun, which is in Aquarius, is at the midpoint of Jupiter and Saturn, plus minus 1 degree. So Jupiter is in Pisces and Saturn is in Aquarius, and they're both in kind of like a large conjunction with the sun, And the sun is almost in the middle between them, the midpoint. So the Jupiter and Saturn energies are definitely affecting the situation. So it means that this full moon can also be about some kind of social changes, about your social role, or about your expression out there, whatever that out there is for you, whether this is business related or in some other way related. But you also may think about your positioning when it comes to social groups, social activities, and it's very interesting that the sun is actually going away from Saturn and getting closer to Jupiter. Or in astrology terms, it means that the conjunction between the sun and Saturn is separating, and the conjunction between the sun and Jupiter is applying. So I think that it's time for us to get away a little bit from what is holding us back, what is kind of like stopping us, restricting us, and to move forward towards growth, expansion, openness, prosperity, success, abundance, whatever it is for you. So the sun is getting closer and closer to Jupiter. And this will be an important theme for the next 1 month. The next new moon will trigger Jupiter. So this topic is about to kind of like be more and more important. But even now, it's important to consider it, that we need to look towards growth and prosperity. And a little bit more optimism, I would say. This is also much needed, I think. So, about the aspects. We have Pluto triggering the full moon in an interesting way. Full moon, Pluto is having a quincunx with the moon and a semi-sextile with the sun. So this full moon can also be very transformative, and we can kind of like go deep into something and work on it, release it, transform it, whatever is kind of like resonating with us. But Pluto adds more depth and like focus and intensity of this full moon. Also, Uranus is having creative aspects with the sun and the moon as well. So there could be some kind of changes, and something may happen quite fast for us. And also it can be very liberating. After all, the sun is in Aquarius. So Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. And freedom and liberation are other important themes right now. So this is a nice thing, and it can open like new doors for us. And as I already said, Venus and Mars are in exact conjunction in Capricorn right now. So our desires can be very, very intense, and at the same time not in a really unbalanced way, because the sign of Capricorn is very practical and kind of like very stable. So it's a great time to really focus on the things that we want and to think about love, stability, what we need to feel safe in our relationships, which are our own priorities. So a very interesting full moon. I don't think it's too difficult or like extremely intense, even though yes, Saturn is in conjunction there, but I think that if we compare it to previous lunations we had recently, this one is not a really difficult one. And it's a great time to focus on love and joy. Okay, so this is our brief review of the full moon. I hope you will find your way to inspire yourself and to make some positive changes in your life. As I said, the main topic is about love, the different forms of love, actually. So this is a very deep theme, and we will explore this in our live training in relationship astrology and synastry course. So check the links below if you want to learn more about how we can evaluate the emotional needs of the person, how they can connect to others. Also, what are the different types of love and what defines which is important for us. Of course, also we will talk about the role of family, ancestors. We will cover connections between two charts. So how do you make a synastry compatibility analysis? We are even going to talk about composite charts. So it's a very advanced, in-depth training. Advanced not in a way that it will be very difficult. It's more about, I'm calling this advanced because it will be very eye-opening. And I think that it will also be a personal journey for everyone to get to know yourself better, to understand more about your own love life. And perhaps there will be many questions and hopefully also answers that will be triggered. So check the link. We are starting very soon. And thank you so much for joining me. Happy full moon to everybody, and I will see you next time.